What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Wow, wow, damn, Team Lighty up right now. Yeah, your man the YB made some quick coins and his favourite kind of coins and William Hill coins. Yeah, no doubt. Listen, what we know is listen, 2021. Listen, the last 12 months has been the year of the Lighty. That's what we know for a fact. Anthony Yardy, Conor Benn. We stay smoking them packs. Yeah? All you other looking ass Knicks need to fix your game up. Johnston, useless. Wilder, useless. Oops. Team Lighty running things right now. No doubt about it. Anyway, listen. Let's get serious. I have to say, whilst I'm gassed, yeah, there's no doubt about that, I have to admit, I was wrong to some extent. Now, I'm not going to get too gassed and say, oh yeah, Conor Benn's the best thing since sliced bread, but in the past, I've called him Conor Bum, all these kind of things, cracking jokes, but people who know me know that I respect one thing more than anything, yeah? People who go in there and they're hungry for it. Now, going into this fight, all the metrics, all the stats were saying, oh well, Chris Van Heerden, it took Errol Spence 8 rounds and no one else ever stopped him. I think Sean Porter couldn't stop him and all that kind of stuff. That was the stats. And based on that stats, I was expecting Conor Benn to go in there, play touch butt with Ido Portal in the park and probably go the distance. Yeah? What I didn't expect was for Conor Benn to come out, really, yeah, the way Conor Benn fights is like Mike Tyson. Now, I'm not getting too gassed. He's not in front of the best ones in the world, but the fact of the matter is, people, yeah, no one has stopped Chris Van Heerden in that fashion. Conor Benn ain't coming to play no games, and I respect that especially in today's era when there's a whole bunch of game players. Look at Anthony Johnston, big buff dude, useless as you like, big bodybuilder, scared of his own shadow. And for me, Chris Van Heerden is like Pulev. Oops, yeah, useless. And Conor Benn goes in there with useless dudes and treats them as if they're useless. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah? You're supposed to smoke on useless bums packs. And that's what he does. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And I have to give a lot of credit to Tony Sims. And the more I mentioned this about a year ago, but the more Conor Benn progresses, it really does show where AJ's old style comes from. Because this is like that similar AJ kind of thing. Totally ferocious. Aggressive. Hungry. And I actually think Conor Benn's much more skillful than AJ was at the same level. And also, he's even more aggressive, to be honest with you. He has the way he was teeing off on Chris Van Heerden at the end. I could see he had that Mike Tyson's grit in his mouth. It's honestly, bear in mind as well, Conor Benn's a silver spoon. It's delightful to watch. It really is delightful to watch. Now, like I said, I ain't going to sit here and tell you that, oh, well, this is the best fight ever. But based on the stats, he's done, it massively outperformed what I thought he would. Conor Benn pretty much took half a round to get adjusted. And when you look at the welterweight division, you've got people like Errol Spence. He comes out, plays touch butt for 10 rounds. Most of the time, these guys aren't even looking for a stoppage. In fact, Errol Spence even said today, he said, oh, well, I don't look for a stoppage, I just do what I'm going to do, and boring, yeah? What you mean to say, Spence, that you're boring, yeah? 100%. And in today's age, and I know we're going to find, and the thing is, I wrote off Conor Benn thinking he weren't going to go for the stoppage in this fight. I thought he was going to look at the stats and say, well, only Errol Spence has stopped him. Let me just fanny around for 12 rounds and get the decision. He went in there and massively just smoked the guy's pack. It's as simple as that. Had showed no respect, or not no respect. He wasn't sloppy. He showed maximum respect, but didn't. They weren't no. He wasn't messing about. It's as simple as that. It's a very rare quality to have today. How many fighters do you know today go in there and are hungry to get the stoppage? Exactly. Don't no one know. In fact, I can't even count. Name me another fighter. Now I'm really intrigued to see how Conor Benn progresses and if he's able to maintain that level of viciousness. Who's next for Conor Benn? I think if Josh Taylor's going to move up, I'd bet on that as well. I'd bet that Josh Taylor gets knocked out by Conor Benn. Josh Taylor under Ben Davidson will get knocked out cold. Because think about it. Jack Casserole, who weren't even... That's the thing. People say, YB, why were you so hard on Jack Casserole? Well, now you know why. That's what I'm talking about, people. Yeah? Conor Benn come to not only win, but to push someone shitting for them. Chris Van Heerden's dinner went right the way back up. He ain't, trust me, he ain't gonna, listen, Chris Van Heerden ain't going to toilet for another 2 weeks. He's shit all the way back up there. 100%. And rightfully so. That's what you're supposed to do. When you're getting paid $500,000 or $1 million for a fight, that's what we expect. You're damn right. You know what I'm saying? All these scary looking dudes. Johnston comes out. Anthony Johnston after losing. Oh, you know, hope the fans are happy with that. Yeah, hope the fans are entertained. What is wrong with you, big clown? You big bodybuilding clown. What is wrong with you? You hope your fans are happy that you got your head boxed off by a dude half your size. Delusional. Yeah? But anyway, like I said, I'd love to watch Conor Benn push Josh Taylor's wig right the way off. And all you Josh Taylor fans are delusional. Conor Benn will knock him cold out. Because Jack Casserole was playing touch butt and nearly knocked the man out. Josh Taylor is useless and washed. And he knows it. That's why he's ducking the rematch with Casserole. But that's what Josh Taylor needs Conor Benn right now. Josh Taylor needs Conor Benn to lay him flat, lay him cold. Yeah? Jack Casserole never going to lay him cold. He ain't got it in him. But Conor Benn, that's the antidote right now. Let's get Josh Taylor and his dusty ass out of the sport. Lame. He'll be going out sleeper as well. Yeah? If if Josh Taylor thinks there's something sweet at 147, let's go in there with Conor Benn then. And let's get it sorted out once and for all. But apart from that, I mean, did Kell Brook fight? Kell Brook's too old. I mean, it'd be a great fight to watch, but I just don't think that's it for me. I understand the Avanesian fight. Avanesian don't do no numbers. And from a selfish boxing fan point of view, I don't care if he does numbers or not. But realistically speaking, if I was managing Conor Benn, would I tell him, yeah, let's go in there and make peanuts against a dude who's got no belts? No, I wouldn't. That's just the honest truth. Yeah? If Avanesian, since he doesn't do any numbers, he best get into a mandatory shot. There's 4 belts. It can't be that hard to become mandatory. Become mandatory, beat one of the champions, and Conor Benn will no doubt go in there with you. Unfortunately, that's the way the world works. If you ain't got no belts and you ain't got no coin, what are we doing here? And I'm not being funny. Who did he fight? Avanesian just fought some complete stifler. I'm not saying Conor Benn didn't, but still. Yeah, when you don't do numbers, you best have some belt. So what's next for Conor Benn? It's kind of difficult. Eddie Hearn talked about. I mean, I think Conor Benn beats Keith Thurman. I really do. I think he might even stop him. So that's the great thing. There are great fights coming up for Conor Benn. To be fair, I don't think he should be rushed though. To be honest with you, I think that he should spend. Bear in mind as well, people. This isn't a division like 140. This isn't a division like, I don't know, pick a bum division. This isn't something, you know what I mean? This is a proper division. Why is that relevant? Well, there's nowhere to rush to here. You're rushing into Spence and you're rushing into Crawford. Of all the divisions, it's probably the worst division to try and rush to a world championship. These dogs are getting old. Honestly, if I was Conor Benn, I'd wait. I wouldn't even think about world championship for another 2 years. Let Crawford get super old. Let Spence get super old, and then go in there and pull a what's his name? Pull a Joe Calzaghe. Do you know what I'm saying? Pull a Joe Calzaghe. That's what I'd do. If I was managing Conor Benn, I'd prepare to pull a Joe Calzaghe. Wait until they're 50-year-old and then go in there and whoop them. Why not? That's what. In fact, not even a Calzaghe and a Floyd Mayweather. Let's not call a spade here. Let's pull a Joe Calzaghe and a Floyd Mayweather. Wait till they're so old that you go in there with them. That's what I'd do. Because how old's Conor Benn? What was he, 25 or something? There's just no rush. I'm not saying to avoid them completely, but let's be real now, people. It's all well and good saying, oh, YB, you're saying for Conor Benn to duck Crawford and Spence. Let's be real now. Who have Crawford and Spence? Who have they both fought? Oops. Yeah? Who's Crawford fought? No one. Crawford's fought no one. I'm sorry, Ian. Who's he fought? No one. That's the fact of the matter is, Crawford ain't fought no Hall of Famers. So why should Conor Benn at 25 years old, Terence Crawford 35-year-old and ain't fought no Hall of Famers. So why should Conor Benn at 25 be rushed in there with Hall of Famers for? It don't make no sense. sit back the same way all these other bums do. I'm not saying fight complete bums. I'm saying I think Conor Benn should go on another 2-3 years of just smoking all these mid-tier dudes. Furman. Who else you got? Broner, not so much. He boring. I guess the numbers will be there, but in terms of the fight, Broner will come just to run around the place. But I guess it might be a good KO, because that's the great thing about Conor Benn, I think. Broner comes to spoil a fight. But unlike Pacquiao, I think Conor Benn will actually be prepared to walk Broner down. Walk him down and just batter him. So I wouldn't mind watching that fight. I mean, look at Maidana. I think Conor Benn potentially has more volume and more viciousness than Maidana. Maidana walked him down and bowled shots over. So that might be a great gauntlet. If you can lay down the gauntlet of stopping Adrian Broner, that would be amazing. So yeah, my point is, I think Conor Benn should spend the next 2 years KOing all these middle dudes. Yeah? I don't think... Someone said, oh, we got 2 more fights and then with Spence. I don't know about that. I just think, at this particular point in time, I'm not saying, I mean, personally, I wouldn't gamble on the fight. Spence versus Benn in 2 years, I'm not going to gamble. It's not worth it. It's not worth the time. It's too risky either way. But I think Benn will have the having of Spence and or Crawford in a few years' time. Especially if he's gone on to stop Furman, stop whoever else. I'm sure I haven't thought about it, but I'm sure there's a whole bunch of names. If Benn ends up perfecting his craft, so he can, because most of these cats can't get stoppages. Oops, yeah, they can't. They're dusty. Spence can't get a stoppage for love nor money. So if Benn can hone his craft enough to stop all of them, that's it. Danny Garcia, Furman, all them ones, smoke all their packs. I don't see why not. I know it might sound mad, but I don't see why not. I don't see nothing special in Danny Garcia. I don't see nothing special in Furman. I mean, especially Furman. Ben will stop Furman next, I reckon. Danny Garcia, he's a bit more robust, but still the same principle. Go up there and smoke him. Here's another dude Danny Garcia's another dude who's scary. He likes to stand there and just look pretty. Don't want to get stuck in. But really, that's more of a statement about the whole of boxing. The whole of boxing now, everyone, ever since Mayweather came along, everyone has a raging hard on to just stand there looking pretty. Oh, I'm really hard. Oh, I'm really hard because I don't get hit. Oh, yeah, but you don't get hit, but you ain't hitting no one either. Oh, well, you know, I'm going to say the cliche of hit and don't get hit. Well, boring. Ben delivers on the value. He delivers on the... And the thing is, he ain't sloppy. He ain't like... He ain't like Babbage. Even though I think Babbage is alright, but he ain't like Babbage, who just comes forward, wading in left and right. Ben has the feints. If you actually break his game down, he's actually very skillful. And that's why he took the round to adjust, because he didn't come running in. He worked. You can see him working things out. He loves just... Ben's amazing at stepping and slipping and step, slip and popping as well. Amazing. Step, slip, pop. These are ultra level or very high level skills you don't see other fighters doing. So I really do have to admit that I was wrong, or I have been wrong so far on Ben. I think the problem was, you see, he came up and he had that tough fight against some French dude, and it was all a bit... Obviously his silver spoon as well, so it was all a bit awkward. So I have to admit that people know me. If I'm wrong, I'll put my hands in the air. I've been wrong. I've been wrong about Ben. He's definitely got a lot more potential than I thought he had. And the thing is as well about Ben, he's not only his potential, but, oh yeah, it's not only his skill level now, it's his potential curve. He's making exponential gains as well. When you look at his career, 2-3 years ago, he was getting beat by complete bums. Now, he's washing some of the top dudes as such. Van Heerden's a top 20 dude, bottom line, or top whatever it is, top 30, wherever it is, he's washing him. In a way... who's never been washed before. And also, what's important here is, I feel, is the fact that Van Heerden didn't come to flop on the floor. Yeah? From what I saw, Van Heerden came to fight, and in fact, the odds reflected that. When the odds were in game, when Chris Van Heerden came out, it started to go against Conor Benn, because he came to fight, he didn't come to... You can tell when someone's pulling a Malik Scott and looking to jump on the floor. This wasn't one of them ones. And actually, something I haven't talked about is actually the power of Conor Benn. Because what welterweight have we seen who hits people and they start doing chicken dance in the first few rounds. Most of these dudes, like Errol Spence, like Crawford, they only hurt dudes when they're tired. That's not real power. Real power is when you hurt a dude when they're fresh as daisy. Now, I slagged off the knockout that Conor Benn had over the nutritionist, El Nutricional. Forgot the guy's name now, but in Conor Benn's last fight, I kind of poo-pooed that win, saying, well, you know, it's kind of fluke. But now, Conor Benn's building a resume showing he's got that kind of Wilder effect. He's able to hurt people when they're fresh. That's real power. Now, what we are going to find out is if that translates. And I'm telling you now, if we start seeing Conor Benn smoking people in the first half of the fight, like Furman, like Garcia, this guy going to be seriously dangerous, and he will be showing something that no one else has shown at welterweight since God knows when. And it's as simple as that. I'm going to put it out there right now. If Conor Benn does Keith Furman in the first 6 rounds, which I think he will. Honestly, I do. I think he can. If Conor Benn comes out with the same level of ferocity, I think you're going to see Keith Furman get his cherry popped in the first 6 rounds by Conor Benn. I really do. I think he has that potential. Now, having seen what I've seen, because these guys, like I said, Furman, I mean, even Furman in his prime. Furman in his prime weren't stopping no one. But when he did, it was 10th, 11th round when everyone's tired. Same as Spence. I mean, look at, even when Spence stopped Van Heerden, it was 10th, 11th round. Even when Spence stopped Kell Brook, it was 11th round and his eye was bust. That's not real power. How many times have you really seen Errol Spence hit someone and they've gone cold? Never. He don't have that. I don't know what it is that Conor Benn has. Probably accuracy. Probably snap. But whatever it is, he's got that magic touch, which is something very rare at 147. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Conor Benn. Hands in the air, I've been wrong so far. What I will say is I really do hope and pray he continues. And to be honest with you, there's nothing to say he won't, but I am going to say it just in case. I really do hope he continues with that vicious spirit, because what often happens is something called the champions effect. They get to a certain level of opponents and or win a belt, and all of a sudden their arse starts to flap and they become defensive. We've seen it time and time again. Look at John Jones in the UFC. Look at AJ to some extent. They come up really ferocious, they win a belt, and then their arse goes, and they start turning into decision machines. They turn into decision machines. They can't get a stoppage for love nor money, because the mentality is completely washed. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about Conor Benn winning a championship and then changing. I'm talking about I want to see Conor Benn maintain that mentality in front of whoever he's in front of. It's a bit like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson in his prime, no matter who he fought, he maintained that same level of ferocity. But most fighters today, they're beta, yeah? They're fannies, which means that, or they're bullies. Most fighters today are bullies, meaning that they'll be really, when they're fighting someone they know they're better than, they'll be really aggressive, really, you know what I mean, really, really offensive. But then the minute they get in the ring with someone who they feel psychologically is as good as them, then all of a sudden their style changes. A great example is really, watch AJ's whole career, he'd been coming forward, yeah? Then, for the first time really, he went in there with Klitschko. And then all of a sudden, AJ turned into a boxer. Which that really was one of the first times we saw AJ's vulnerable and weak mentality. Because like I said, Mike Tyson was going in there with one of the greatest at the time, Michael Spinks, who I think had just beat Ali or something like that. Had whooped Ali around the place. Or beat Larry. I'm not sure. He beat someone for sure. Yeah? And Mike Tyson went in there with the same... Mike Tyson didn't give none of them guys no credit. He went in there and treated them all like fresh 18-year-old versions. Yeah? He went in there and just popped their shit right open for them. And rightfully so. And that's what I don't understand. All these guys talk about I'm a killer, but how can you be a killer when the minute you're in front of someone who you feel is your peer, your ass goes and your mentality changes? And that's why, to some extent, again, Conor McGregor in his prime, even though he was a weight bully, but still, Conor McGregor in his prime, when he was in front of Jose Aldo, who obviously at the time was a pound for pound great or whatever, Conor McGregor didn't go in there and suddenly change his style. He treated him the same way as everyone else, like a bum. And that when you have when you maintain that superiority complex, I don't think it's a bad thing. Fight your game. If you're a man who has one punch power, if Conor Benn's a man who has one punch power, who's ferocious, then be ferocious. And if you lose doing that, then so be it. You've been beat by the better guy. What can you say? Yeah, I think Conor Benn's best chance to really change the game and dominate isn't to go in there, smoke all these lesser dudes, and then get in there with Spence or Spence or Crawford, and then think, oh well, these guys are the top guys, let me change my style. Because then you end up fighting their game. They want it nice and slow, and to go all night, and to drag on. What's going to happen, yeah, if Conor Benn, young, fresh and whatever, these guys are 35, 36, 37 years old, what's going to happen when a young, fresh bull comes in there and starts popping off stinging shots? Oops. These guys, yeah, like Crawford and whatnot, they're used to this real slow marathon pace. Boring as you like. That's what they like. They do, they love it. They love to go in there, find their feet for 4 rounds, get a nice steady pace going, and then if someone runs out of gas, they'll, you know what I mean, they might stumble upon a KO. They've never had no young bull up in their face, sticking it on them. That's what they ain't had. It's as simple as that. They ain't had it. Yeah? Actually, everyone rants and raves about how skilled these guys are. Let's actually test them skills out when they're in front of someone who wants it. Because most of these guys don't really want it. They turn up, like Sean Porter, for example. Sean Porter turned up, after the fight he's talking about, oh, well, I didn't really want to be a pussy ass. Get out of here. I'm sick of these guys. I'm sick of people, yeah, making millions. And then after the fight they say, oh, I'm sick of people selling the fight. Oh, yeah, I'm the best ever. After the fight, well, you know, I haven't really been training. And you get, you bum-ass dude. It should be fined, in my opinion. The commission should say, listen, you gassed the fans up, we're taking half your purse. Oops. Yeah, that's what 100%. Because guess what? Don't sell pay-per-views on the fact that you've fully trained and everything else and you really want it, and you get in there and afterwards you say, well, my head weren't really in it. Well, if your head weren't really in it, I guess your head don't want half the pay-per-view sales, does it either? But yeah, Conor Benn, fair play to the guy, man. He definitely won me over as a fan. I'm now a 10 out of 10 Conor Benn fanboy, bottom line. And people can deny it and lie to themselves, but what we know is people weren't expecting that, yeah? The odds of a second round KO from Ben were like 30 to 1. So no one was expecting that. Most people were thinking he was going to win, but he was going to drag on. So, fully hats off. And just keep that same level. That's all I'm asking for. Keep that level of aggression. Smoke all these mid-tier dudes. I think Ben should spend the next 2 years, 3 years, smoking all the mid-tiers. Get rid of them all. Wipe them all out within 6 rounds. Every single one. That should be the goal. Because in life, yeah, there's 2 ways you can do things. You can either go up rapidly in competition, or in life, life's like a graph. You can either rapidly ascend in terms of your level of competition, or you can rapidly increase the quality of your performance. I'm saying, yes, Ben should increase the quality of his opponent, i.e. going from Chris Van Heerden to Keith Thurman. But rather than, I don't think going to fight Spence in a year makes sense. Focus on getting the quality performances. Build that pay-per-view brand. Knocking out Keith Thurman within 6 rounds. That's what, I'm not being funny, but that's what Mike Tyson did. Mike Tyson built the main bulk of his brand, beating decent dudes ferociously. Build that. You ain't going nowhere quick. Hone your knockout craft. That's another thing Mike Tyson did. He put fear into these cats as well. They were shook. And Spence and Thurman ain't never met no one who's smoking dudes within 2 rounds. They ain't seen it. They like nice, slow and dopey dudes. That's their favourite. Next 2-3 years, smoke all of these cats. Thurman, Broner, Garcia within 6 rounds. Or certainly within the distance. Do what all these other guys couldn't do. They couldn't do it. It's as simple as that. They couldn't. I think Ben has the potential to be able to do. I think Ben has the absolute potential to fulfill that as well. And then the Spence fights and the Thurman fights become colossal fights. They become serious. In the UK, million pay-per-view sales. In the US, 500,000 pay-per-view sales. That's how big they become. If you rush up there and... I just don't... There's no rush is my point. 1 year or 3 years, the quality level Conor Benn can increase, it will be exponential. And his chance of winning them fights goes up exponentially as well. What's the point rushing to a title to get beat? Don't make no sense. And to be honest, even 3 years, that's only, 6-7 fights. 3 years, Conor Benn's going to be, 28? 28? If you win then, you can have a good 5-6 years of your reign. More than most people get. That's my opinion anyway. But yeah, I love what Conor Benn's doing right now. That's another thing. He don't get out of shape. He stays in shape. A lot of these other cats, yeah, not so much Crawford, but Spence, he blows up. You know what I mean? He big bulbous. He ain't got no discipline. He ain't hungry for it like that. A lot of these US guys are lazy. They've made way too much money, and that is actually one thing I rate about Conor Benn. He's actually flipped the whole silver spoon script to his favour. Because a lot of these broke hood dudes, like Spence, like Crawford, they get some coin for the first time and they lose themselves. It's all new. But Conor Benn's already lived in the big mansions with his dad. He's already driven the big cars with his dad. Yeah? So it's not all brand new to him. And that's why I think he's flipped it to his benefit. It's not, he don't get all gassed off it. He's actually relatively stable. You see he's got a fiance or a wife or whatever. Look at Adrian Broner. He was out here shagging everything that walked and whatever else. 20 kids. So Conor Benn's actually very stable. And that's another thing I like. The whole lot's coming together nicely. 100%, no doubt.